please unmute?
You know, one of those commissioner things. Microphones are not loud. It's best to make them. Is that what I mean? Yes.
Ready? Good evening. Doug is going to lead us in the pledge today, and a moment of silence.
It's to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kramer,
Present.
Commissioner O'Rourke,
Present.
Commissioner Rexroth,
Present.
Chairman Wessel,
Here.
Commissioner Ross,
Present.
Commissioner Allgaier,
Here.
Commissioner Lautner,
Present.
present.
And all seven of us are here, and we'll be here tomorrow morning again at 9:30.
I brought my sleeping bag.
We're now ready to approve some minutes. If anybody would like to make a motion. The clerk has provided us with a little cheat sheet here. Ms. Rutherford?
I would move that the Leelanau County Board of Commissioners approve minutes from public hearing Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Regular session Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Budget work session Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Budget work session Monday, September 25, 2023. Closed session Monday, September 25, 2023. And special session Monday, October 2nd, 2023.
Support. All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. 7-0. Thank you. We now are ready to approve the agenda. Does anybody have a motion?
I would move to approve the agenda as presented. Support.
Commissioner Lautner?
I had one, I was going to ask that we remove one agenda item, the first action item, for the letter of support. You know, I understood your letter. I think I understand exactly where you're coming from, Commissioner Wessel, and I think it would be really great if, as you said, in your capacity of chair to sign as District 4, the letter. I think that would be a great idea since you do represent that portion of the county. But as far as the county, signing on for the, I guess it would be the Grand Traverse Bay Climate Resilience Proposal. We just tend to have not done a lot of these as a county. So, the whole county pledged support behind it. So I do see where this would benefit your district.
I think it would benefit us all. We don't usually talk about agenda items. We either put them on or take them off. So I will not support taking that off the agenda. So you can make a motion, and we want to amend the motions on the floor.
That would be my motion to.
Doug had made a motion to
Yes,
support.
that would be I would move to amend it to remove that item.
Have a second to that? Okay, all those in support of the motion on the floor say aye.
Aye.
We have an agenda 6-1. Thank you. We now are at our communications, proclamations, and presentations, and we'll start out with the administrator's report.
So just a couple quick kudos. I want to first thank Chairman Wessel for attending the New Waves Community Church and Habitat for Humanity ribbon cuttings today. So I had several emails from Trudy and our past administrator, Janet, saying that you did a great job. So thank you for being there on our behalf. A few other things for the board. Just want to let you know from the prosecutor, I received a letter. First of all, good news. This is from the prosecutor, his comments. First of all, good news. As a result of the Board of Commissioners agreeing to raise the advertised salary for the position Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, we were able to interview and extend an offer of employment to a very qualified career prosecuting attorney. But for the support of you all and the action taken by the Board of Commissioners approving the raise in the offered salary, this job posting would remain, in my opinion, unfilled. We are pleased to announce the acceptance of the position from Daniel L. Short, who is the chief, most recently the chief prosecuting attorney for Calhoun. Thank you all on his behalf.
Okay.
And then, do want to let you know about two other things from Trudy. The Leelanau Township Board approved the Bluebird Early Bird Redevelopment Project Brownfield Plan at their meeting last night. This means we need to set a public hearing for the Board of Commissioners and then have the board take action to approve this plan. So we're looking at possibly a public hearing just prior to or immediately following the executive committee meeting. So most likely we'll be just following, since that meeting starts at 9 p.m. So keep you posted on that if that works out. Just wanted to let you all know that that will be forthcoming. And lastly, Trudy also asked me to share with the commissioners that tomorrow from 2:30 to 4, her staff will be taking part in a training from People Speak. It's a trial use of this program for meetings. It is an automated meeting taking system that will perhaps assist in some of the subcommittees that we have, might be beneficial for Parks and Recs and some of the other ones. So there's an opportunity to take part in that, and I will be following up with an email to the board this evening, letting you know what that link is.
Thank you. And Ms. Allen did reference the New Waves Habitat Project, and I was proud to represent us all, and they were appreciative of our support. Kayla Ross is going to introduce our presenter tonight.
Great, thank you. So it's my pleasure tonight to introduce you to Everett Howell. He is a junior at the Greenspire High School, but he did go to Sutton's Bay School and he lives in the village of Sutton's Bay. This is Everett's 7th year as a Leelanau County 4-H member. Everett joined 4-H as soon as his mother, sitting back there, Rosalie Collier, became the 4-H coordinator for us in Leelanau County. And I was lucky enough to serve as his 4-H leader in an outdoors club many years ago. But Everett is a very active 4-H member. He participates in archery. He goes down to MSU for exploration days. He's an 4-H spectacular. I won't get into that. He skis and snowboards with the group. He has been involved in Lansing at the Capital Experience, and he's a member of the 4-H Youth Advisory Council. And he volunteers in this community very extensively. He has taken full advantage of the many wonderful opportunities for youth to learn by doing, and I'm proud to be sitting here with him in front of me today. Tonight, Everett wants to share with you a short 5-minute video that he put together about a journey he had to Japan through the 4-H program. So he's giving us this presentation to help encourage other youth in the county to take advantage of these wonderful opportunities that 4-H offers. So Everett applied to the Michigan 4-H International Exchange, and he was one of only 5 teams in the state to be accepted. He took part in trainings and meetings to be very prepared over several months. And then he traveled to Japan and spent 4 weeks there this summer with a host family. And he has put together this video to help share this wonderful experience. I'm so glad that you're here tonight, and I hope this global experience will carry with you forever. So take it away.
Thank you, Commissioner Ross. Hello, everyone. My name is Everett, as you said. I have put together a pretty brief video here, sharing my story of Japan. And then after the video is over, feel free to ask any questions that you may have. So, if you'd like to.
Roll the video.
Hello everyone, my name is Everett Howell, a member of Leelanau County. I just spent 4 weeks in Hamamatsu, Japan, living with the host family and having a ton of fun. I hope you enjoy this little presentation I've created for you today, as it shares some of my experiences and some of the people I met. So thank you. I left my hometown in northwestern Michigan, traveled to Seattle, and traveled from Seattle to Tokyo with all the other delegates. Greeted at the train station of Hamamatsu by my amazing host family. Spent a few days bonding before heading out to Mount Fuji. When we arrived at Mount Fuji, we were met with a safari park where you can interact and feed all of the cute, cuddly animals. Some were more fun to be observed through car windows. Next, I attended school. It was really interesting and had subjects I'd never heard of before, such as calligraphy. It allowed me to expand my horizons and my ideas on what education looked like. And I made a lot of friends with the Japanese youth. I was sad to leave, but summer vacation had just started. As summer break began, we explored many different activities. Swimming under a waterfall, seeing my host uncle in his rock climbing club sponsored by the school, sitting in the air museum, and flying in a flight simulator. Visiting various festivals, all the various foods, incredible. Along with various sightseeing occasions, such as castles and caves with bats. I attended labo parties, similar to 4-H club experiences, in my traditional garb and spoke to the younger audiences about what it's like to live in America. Next was time for camp, where we got to meet many wonderful people of all ages. There, we all introduced ourselves and got right to work on our big show.
Sound should be sounding, but there's no sound. The video is a little laggy, sorry.
You may have to explain that, Everett.
Okay. This should be it.
After camp, we only had a few days remaining, so my host family asked me what I would like to do. And I'm an avid mountain biker, so I suggested that. Along with the mountain bikes, the cycle center also had many other methods of transportation. Japan is beautiful and left a lasting impression on me. My favorite part of the trip was down to the people who made it possible, my host family especially. After a lovely send-off, I boarded the bullet train, headed back towards Tokyo and back towards home.
So what were they doing with the?
So sorry about the quality and the sound and all that.
Oh, no, it's great.
Thank
It
you.
was wonderful. You did a wonderful job.
So that was at our camp, and there was a summer camp about halfway through the trip, so about the 2-3 week point. And that was on the final day. They do kind of a send off. So there's a big bonfire, which I don't think you can see in the video, but there's a big bonfire, and there's about 400 youth at that camp. And they have all of like the counselors come up, and there's kind of like a stage set up, and they'll do different performances. So the video doesn't show it, but after that, they kind of went up in some big like finale, like finish. which was incredible to be there and witness. The video kind of makes it look a little underwhelming, but it was really cool in person. And it was kind of their send off, because for a lot of the kids, it's like the halfway point in their summer vacation. They only have a month, whereas we have 3. So they kind of make the most of it at camp.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Yeah.
I can't believe it was only.
Any other questions further? Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so
we
much.
missed the 4-H presentation this year because everybody was
hi.
gone, so good to have you. Thank you.
Here's Stanley for yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
Nice job.
Thank you. And now we must be friends.
Thank you for representing us so well.
We're now at that point in our agenda that we have public comment. And this is the first public comment. You are limited to 3 minutes, and you may speak to us about anything that you think we ought to hear. Mr. Mikowski?
Good evening, Steve Mikowski, Lake Leelanau. We have placed on each of your desks an article from the Ticker that appeared yesterday. What a long, strange trip it's been. A timeline of Leelanau County's finance department moves. It is a well-done, fact-based article because I've attended most of those meetings. It's a rendition of what the Fire County Commission recklessly did, and which has been recklessly pursued by this commission. And it's our belief that unless this commission begins to deal with the issue of the removal of the clerk loathing motion of May 11th, 2021, and provides an accounting to the people and describes all the harm and damage that's been done to some people in this building, this will not go away. It will remain with us for an awful long time. The sooner we wrestle with this, the better it will be for the commissioners. And we're talking about the accounting for this process. And unless that's done, we're in for some very difficult times in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes. Yes.
My name is Tom Peterson. I'm a resident of Empire Township, and I need to state I am an independent voter. I do not belong to the Republicans or the Democrats. I have served 26 years in the military in and out of combat. Now, I've been attending some of these meetings here as well as online, and I've come to hear some things lately that seem to be slanted to one side. And I'd like to present another side by addressing 4 of these points. And one of them is the government. While often categorized as a democracy, the United States is more accurately defined as a constitutional federal republic. And this means that the Constitution is our basis of law. It's the supreme law. It provides the framework. The federal means that there's a national and a state government. And the republic is a form of government in which the people hold power, but they democratically elect representatives to exercise that power. So that both words are in there, republic and democrat. And nothing in that definition tells me that I have to be one or the other, Republican or a Democrat. Now, there are also some folks that seem to be having a high blood pressure attack over the committees used in government. I've been involved with many different types of management over the years, and all the effective ones do smaller groups to do the research, work to solve the problems, and report back to the main body their findings for that main body to make a decision. Every level of government, from the federal on down, uses committees. I can find no problem with using committees. I have sat in service clubs and church meetings where they were trying to conduct business as a committee of the whole, and it normally took many, many long hours of meetings to begin to find a consensus, to find a way to go. Committees don't decide, they advise. In this country, we have freedom of religion. That means that every person has the choice as to which religion they will follow, which includes none. It is their right. I have heard many individuals in this room try to force their belief on others. I'm not necessarily saying you as in this room. Every person in this room or in this country has the right of the choice of their beliefs. However, they do not, in capital letters, have the right to impose that belief on any other person. Period. End of discussion. And I've been hearing the one nation under God since the beginning has been used in this room. And I have to say that motto of one nation under God replaced the original one in 1956, not in 1776.
Thank you. I'm sorry, your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Study history.
There's another public hearing or public session at the end.
Other public comment?
Jerry's back there.
Yes, Jerry. You were hidden back there. I didn't see you. That's the best place to be.
Usually is.
My name is Jerry Coleman. I'm the maintenance director for Leelanau County here. I just want to make it brief. I want to apologize to the board for not being more proactive in some of the decisions that are trying to be made for the improvements downstairs. As I was cleaning it out, our administrators, Deb Allen has been proactive in trying to get things squared away. She's trying to fit square peg in a round hole, vice versa. She's been working hard. And as I cleaned out the room, it became bigger and bigger. And I go, wow. But I just want to apologize for not being proactive instead of coming to this point. I know we haven't bought any materials, we haven't done anything yet, but I just also want to apologize to Deb Allen. She's doing a great job. She's got more on her plate than any administrator I've seen in 40 years at one time. I mean, we're talking major stuff. Yes, that's her job, but there's a lot. And I should have talked to her sooner about this and discussed my thoughts and ideas, because I see things have changed in the past few weeks now with personnel and different things and ideas. So maybe it would serve us in the county best to, look at things differently. I don't know, but I want to apologize, and I apologize to you.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for the work you do.
Yes, not necessary to apologize, but thank you.
Other public comment? Yes. Discussion.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Sam Getzinger, Elmwood Township, and I want to thank you for the lovely Leelanau's First Indigenous Peoples celebration. For too long, our county is only honored, it seems like, the white settlers. So it was really nice to see that celebration. And it was wonderful to see the GTB flag next to the American flag, considering their ethnic group is the highest number in the military of any ethnic group in America. So it actually brought tears to my eyes to see that flag flying there. It was wonderful to see Chairman Arroyo, to see all of us standing there as neighbors, trying to heal what has happened in the past and have a future together. So I want to thank you for acknowledging the Indigenous Peoples' Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Bill.
Bill Wiesner, Elmwood Township. I forgot my watch, so just cut me off when I'm done. Again, the sign says no fraud, and everyone's, I assume, is for no fraud, but I believe we've got major fraud going on right now in every county in America. And that, look at Muskegon, what happened with that lady writing 13,000 ballots that were illegal in 7 other cities in Michigan. So the simple way to do it is one person, one ballot, one vote, one day. And cameras, we have cameras out in the parking lot. We should have cameras for the most precious right we have is voting. And that would take away all the doubt. And for the election of the people that watch the ballot thing, you still can't trust the machines and all the other stuff. This handout is 2 parts. And the first part is the Mind Polluters. It's a great movie about what's happening in the schools, the efforts of grassroots volunteers. You can read the little captions there, but this is a $25 video that I purchased. They used it very extensively in Texas and stopped all the sexually explicit books from being in any school library. I think maybe the county or the other libraries also. So it's free on, I saw this on the Signal channel from someone thankfully putting it up there. It's free on the 19th of October through the 22nd. The 19th at noon, you can watch this $25 video. If you're concerned about all the stuff that's going on, the promotion, pushing of LGBT everywhere and in the schools also, and in the big parade and everything in town here, then watch this movie and they'll show you the foundation of it. It's not just a religious belief. Well, both sides are. LGBT, that's what this handout is. Christian versus LGBTQ religion, God's word versus man. Those are the 2 choices. Christian God, or you have your own God somehow. And the 10 Commandments by LGBT and the Christian one here too. The kicker here is the books in the library at TCAPS. TCAPS West, TC Central or TC West had over 500 books, all LGBT. They're supposed to show both sides of every issue, especially controversial ones. They have nothing on the compassionate Christian view on homosexuality and the science and the history of the whole thing. And TC Central's at 400 books. Equality, diversity, inclusion, I don't think so on this matter. 0 for the Christian perspective. Okay?
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you for your time. Election in the second half.
Any other public comment? We'll have a second public comment at the end of this meeting, and thank you very much for speaking to us. Commissioner comment, yes.
I'd like to thank Mr. Coleman for coming up here. I don't know how long he's been with the county, but I don't know how many, that seems like a lifetime. He's done a fantastic job. And going back to the room downstairs, he called me and it was kind of too late to look at the space comparing to other offices, okay? I didn't look at it. And I guess, the thing was, it's been in the works for a couple of years. But the good thing about this, Mr. Coleman called me, and anybody out there, any county resident, if you have something concerned, call me, call us. And
Other commissioner comments? Commissioner Lauder?
Yes, I said quite a bit on this issue yesterday, and obviously, we got nowhere. Yesterday, I did ask that we talk to the health department and the builder about the possibility of backing up a little bit on this project. And I know that did not happen other than the health department, and surprise, the health department says they need all that room. A quick pacing off of what we've done down there with this decision that I did not support gives environmental health, half of our health department, more space in our administrator and equalization put together, if my pacing is correct. It was kind of hard to tell exactly where the walls are. 6 private offices. No other office in this building has private offices like that, not in those numbers. Petitions and cubbies work just fine for our county employees, but yet we're doing this major space for, I believe, 5 employees that will be there, 3 of them part-time. Where I understand. This is such a disservice to our employees. This is such a disservice to our public. I know it's too late to do anything about it now. We've had an opportunity. I've been crying for you all to reconsider this for months before those contracts were signed, before those pens went to paper, and we did not. And 2,600 square feet for these employees, when we have 6 employees in just over 800 feet for our county employees. 1,600 in others. So it's a boondoggle, to say the least. It'll be tied up for 10 years. And we now have no space left for any expansion of county business whatsoever. We now have the problem of where to put the things that are so important to our family court, which is the tools that our probation officers use for diversion to our youth. They come before us every year and tell us how the numbers are so low in this county because of our diversion program. We have bikes, we have canoes or kayaks and camping equipment. They do so much with our youth and they need that equipment. And yet the comment was made yesterday that, well, I don't even know if we're responsible for storing their stuff. They are a division of our courts. So now there's a potential that we may put a shipping container on this beautiful campus to store our courts needed equipment. It is, as I say, it's done. It's a disservice to not only our employees but to our public, and it's just sad that it happened that way.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comment? Okay. We are now down to our consent agenda. And I'd like to start off by reading a statement about the consent agenda. The purpose of the consent agenda is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one motion without discussion. Any commissioner may ask that any item on the consent agenda be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will automatically be respected and will not need a second. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
Discussion? All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Thank you. We're now down to item number 7 on the agenda. And this is a letter that the Grand Traverse Band reached out to me and asked for a letter of support from the county commissioners and for me as their District 4 commissioner to support a grant application that they have. And they were hopeful that our support would provide further evidence of broad community support for their grant request. I certainly like the purpose of the grant. It is a grant to inventory and begin their planning for renewable resources and climate-friendly resources. And I would ask for a motion to support Me signing this letter as board chair.
So moved.
Support.
You got that,
Or Ross.
you need them to restate the motion?
I think they're supporting the letter to the Grand Traverse Band regarding climate resilience proposal, and they are authorized to sign.
That's correct. Correct. Any discussion? Commissioner Russ?
Yeah, I'd like to share with you that Courtney, and I don't remember her last name, but she is the environmental head at the band. She Hessel, yeah, she's part of our Leelanau County Energy Futures Task Force, a valuable member, and she did express to us what they're trying to do is be a model in this county and a partner with us to work forward in green energy, and I was very excited. She's a delightful, energetic, knowledgeable young person that's gonna do wonderful things for the tribe, and I support this. Thank you.
I am proud to sign this.
Commissioner Ledner?
Yes, I will be abstaining from this vote, Mr. Chairman.
Pardon?
I will be abstaining from this vote.
Okay. Any other comment? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vote approved, the motion approved 6-0 with one abstaining. Thank you. We now, and I think Andrew's here. Andrew, first of all, we extend our sympathy and thoughts to you and thank you.
Thank you. You should all, I believe, have a copy. You should have received a PDF. Okay, great. And Ty, I don't know, I think you got one earlier this week. Okay.
I was hoping they wouldn't catch that and I get another one.
Well, I had a note on saying Ty Wessel was here, so. So when my predecessor would present the apportionment report in the past, she would go through this somewhat hefty report, page by page, statistic by statistic. That's not the approach I'm going to take today. The report in front of you has all the various statistics, and my office is always available to you to address any questions that you may have. But the approach I'd like to take is briefer and I hope more sort of educational, with a focus of sort of hitting the highlights of the report and not every single statistic. So why do we have to meet for an apportionment session beyond, well, the state of Michigan says that we have to? The General Property Tax Act lays out two chief responsibilities for boards of commissioners when it comes to property assessment and taxation. The first responsibility of the board is the process of equalization. Equalization happens in the spring, and it's the process through which the board ensures fairness and uniformity in assessing by making sure that all property is assessed at 50% true cash value. The second responsibility of the board, as far as assessment and taxation, is the process of apportionment. And so what that basically means is that the Board of Commissioners exercises oversight on how the overall taxable value of the county and the revenue generated by that taxable value is distributed across the various governmental units. So townships, villages, cities, as well as the tax levying authorities that operate within the county. So that would be your school districts, libraries, emergency services, and public transit. So you may recall that at the last regular session on September 19th, the board approved the county's L4029 request. So it looks like this guy, Ty signs it, and Michelle signs it. That form identified all the items or programs that the county levies a millage to support. So county operations, the road commission, senior services, and then the early childhood program. So in addition to the county itself, every taxing entity within the county also has to file an L4029. So they gather, they have their board meetings, they determine what they're going to levy within that maximum allowable millage, and then they sign it and they send it off. And equalization, we sort of compile it and put it in the apportionment report so that you all can view it. So some units set their millage rates in the springtime in time for the July levy. And some units set their rates in the fall for the December levy. So that's what we're coming up to now. We're coming up to the fall or winter taxes. And the county levies for operations in July, but levies for roads, seniors, and early childhood in the winter. So I get to come before you twice a year to do the 29. Always fun time.
So the apportionment report just summarizes all of the millages to be levied and provides an estimate of the revenues to be generated, or the estimated revenues to be generated by each millage in each jurisdiction or by each authority that operates in the county. So this packet, we've always kind of referred to this as the apportionment report, but the official apportionment report that you are sort of authorizing or voting on, and that will get sent to the state of Michigan, is just the last few pages of the report. It's everything that's under tab 15. So if you want to dive deep into the millages levied in each township and the estimated revenue that each township is receiving, that information is provided within that L4402, which is under that tab 15. And it's broken down by whether that revenue is allocated revenue, extra voted revenue, or revenue that is set to cover debt. So when you're voting to approve the apportionment report, that's the thing that you're voting to approve, that L4402. So hopefully, if you can stand some statistics, I'll just finish by quickly highlighting some of the things that jumped out to me in this year's apportionment report. So the county's overall taxable value increased about 9%. It was 8.79%, so a little bit less than 9% from 22 to 23. And that was a jump of 3.3 billion to 3.6 billion. And the county's overall taxable value has increased 289% since 1994. So right there, yeah, Commissioner Wanner, that's the chart. So in 94, the total taxable value of the county was about $930 million. And today it's 3.6 billion. So, a little appreciation in the counties, in the assets of everyone in the county. The top 10 taxpayers represent 2.3% of the total taxable value of the county, but they're diverse geographically. So they're all over the county, and they're also diverse by industry. So real estate, agriculture, retail, utilities, so that would be gas and electric. The single largest source of taxable value is which this would seem obvious, the residential class. So that's about 90% of the taxable value comes from just the regular homeowners that live within the county. That's followed by commercial, that's about 6%. Agricultural is about 3%. Utility is about 1.5%. And then industrial is about 0.5%. The county has about 1,200 tax exempt parcels. That's about 4.3% of the total parcels in the county. But that comprises 36% of the county's land area. So 1,200 parcels, but it's 56,700 acres. And the largest tax holder, or the largest tax exempt property is the United States government. So the Park Service, because they have basically all of the Manitous, and then all of the Sleeping Bear Dunes area in Glen Arbor Township and elsewhere. Township with the highest estimated revenue for 23 is Leelanau with 2.9 million, followed by Leland, which is 2.2. The tax levying authority that has the highest estimated revenue is the Suttons Bay Bingham Fire Authority, that's 2 million. And then the public school district with the highest estimated revenue is Glen Lake Community School District. So those are just the big statistics that jumped out at me as I was putting this report together. And I welcome any questions that you may have.
Commissioner Lautner?
I have a comment, Andrew, thank you very much. I always look forward to these reports. I love the statistics, I love these numbers. There's good news in here, and there's always concerning news in here. I do like the page by page play by, but I will read it myself. I've actually been through it. We got it by digital. I don't think it's the whole report though, in our board package tonight. It's not this entire packet, is it?
It should be. It should be a PDF of exactly what.
Oh, perhaps, and maybe it was just a quicker read. So I guess my question would be, is this if the public would like to see this by digital form, can they get what we received in our package?
Yeah, we put this online, and then we put kind of the apportionment report under tab 15. That comes, we printed. it comes out of the state's e-file site, so it's kind of ugly. And we put this whole report as well as a nicer, more sort of easy to understand version of the apportionment report with all the millages on the equalization site.
Okay, so, because I spoke before about the exempt parcels, those are a real concern for me. You know, we have, as you said, the national parks, we've got state parks, we've got county parks, we have township parks, we have churches, we have the conservancy, we have, I know we've got some military, exemptions.
So that would not fall, those parcels that's an exemption that they carry, so it's not, there's a difference between sort of an exempt, a parcel that's exempt from a taxable exempt parcel.
Okay,
and
so
then
military aren't listed in.
Correct, not in this, right?
Okay, because I didn't find them, so that was my question.
Yep,
That's
yep.
why I didn't find them. Are they in the April?
So they are, that exemption, I'm not exactly sure why we do it this way, but they're exempt, they have to reapply so it's sort of similar to like the PRE exemption. So it's not always a permanent exemption. These ones are permanent where these various parcels or these various, I would say taxpayers, but they're exempt, so they're not paying taxes. So like the park is exempt and they don't have to prove they're exempt, right? The churches don't have to prove they're exempt year after year after year.
Okay. It's very interesting.
This is following up Commissioner Wonders, if I'm doing math right, if we're looking at the exempt parcels for the total taxable cash value of 995 million and Leelanau County at 3.6 billion, the math comes to me about 20% of our cash taxable value is exempt from taxes.
So this total true cash, because these parcels are exempt, typically they're not assessed. So they don't have a taxable value, but the state wants us to report an estimated taxable value. So what we do in equalization with all of these parcels is we estimate what we believe the land value is, or the value of whatever is there on the property based on our appraisal of the property. So that's the number that equalization has come up with, but that's not an official, like what the assessor thinks that it's worth. So if the assessors were required by the state of Michigan to assess all these properties, like if for example, if you have a parsonage or something that is no longer being used by the church and it's going to become taxable because it's being sold, the assessor has to go out and assess that, and then it has an assessment and a taxable value. But with most of these exempt parcels, they're never really assessed. They never have an assessment or a taxable value, and so we do an estimate, and that's how we come to that final number.
But then per your estimate, 20%
Correct.
of our taxable value is exempt from taxes.
Correct.
Commissioner Kramer.
Sorry, yes, thank you. So my question is, because we're talking about these tax exempt parcels, you are defining their value based off of what the market value would be, correct?
Correct.
So it wouldn't be like, because some of these are under conservation easements and have waived their development rights, which reduces their taxable value. That's not taken into consideration.
Correct. I mean, the estimate that we do here is solely based on our study of the market. So if a parcel is 40 acres, we have a rate for that. We'd say, oh, well, that's.
I'm sure. I don't think those are in here.
They are.
The
Easements?
Well, that's two different
No.
things.
right. So
Like two different things, I want to be clear.
correct. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
conservancy owned parcels are exempt. But if someone has they own the piece, they own a residential piece, and they have an easement that the conservancy holds, that parcel is not tax exempt.
Mhm.
It may have some kind of tax break through the feds or some other, but would not be included on this list.
If we took the taxable value of the national park shoreline for how many miles? 530?
He's got it in there.
Yeah, but it is.
I don't know what that number would be,
That would
but I mean, it
be
would be part of the.
amazing. But years ago, I know Cleveland Township was 41% national park. So we're just this little tiny township.
And
in a glorious, glorious area, so we're grateful.
Yeah, you can see some of those. He's got them 10,750,000, 4,500,000, 7,000,000, 1,000,000, 13,000,000, 13,050,000. But we do get some revenues from the federal government for these pieces.
Correct.
And a whole bunch of money off the visitors.
In the form of PILT, we get some dollars, it's not very much.
Correct.
Yeah.
Other questions for Andrew or comments?
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thanks for all this work. It's always interesting.
There is a suggested motion on page 3. Commissioner Hubble?
Would move that the Leelanau County Board of Commissioners approve the county apportionment report L 4402 as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
We're now down to item number 9. Don, you have an update for us?
Sure, just wanted to share that, we anticipate that by the end of this week, we should have a finalized contract in regards to the property owner for the Leelanau Tower. Things are moving forward. We did receive confirmation from, that property owner that they have it and that they're finalizing final review. So we do anticipate that, again, we should have contracts and everything finalized for that moving forward by the end.
Commissioner Lauder.
We will see those before they're signed.
I believe you have already seen the property owner agreement, but I will make sure that they get forwarded out since they have had a minor review on them with a new attorney. So we'll make sure they get forwarded out to them.
And so we will see those before they're signed, then if there's been a change to what we approved.
Yes, I will make sure that they get out to everyone.
Other comments or questions?
I don't think there was anything structurally with the agreements, but I'll make sure that they're redlined so that.
One change was the name of the attorney.
Yeah, the attorney's name, I think, was the primary thing.
Okay, then we're down to item number 10, and it's the Government Center lower level build out project.
So
We have two suggested motions. One of them is on our yellow sheet under 10A up at the top. And one of them is on the white sheet that the clerk has provided to us. Just want to comment at all?
So in regards to 10A, the FAH architecture project management proposal, this proposal was submitted and during the executive committee. It was pulled out because there was a question in regards to has the cost sharing agreement that was initially presented and reviewed by our lessee, the Leelanau District Health Department, have they agreed to the cost? And clearly on page 1 under section 2 of sharing of costs entry into lease, it specifically states that they agreed to pay 50% of project management costs, which were set at 3.5% of total project costs. So it is clearly stated in the agreement that that's the understanding.
We have a motion. Commissioner Ross.
I move that the Leelanau County Board of Commissioners approve the agreement between the County of Leelanau and RCI Richter Construction, Inc. for the purpose of constructing the build-out of the lower level environment.
We want the.
I think it's 10A first. That's what I started in.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Wait,
This part at the top.
that's it, okay.
Yeah, actually, 10A.
I don't see, it's not what this.
Not bolded.
It's not bolded.
This is motion direction.
It doesn't make sense.
Top of page 4.
It's you want to speak to that?
Yes.
I can recommend, just start with that.
No, you start with, you say, I move to approve an agreement.
Yeah, just.
Okay.
just-
I move to approve an agreement between the Leelanau County and FHA Architecture PLLC of Harbor Springs, Michigan to act as project manager of the Leelanau District Health Department Environmental Office Lower Level Construction Project as presented at a cost not to exceed $12,469.63. Funds to come from fund number 470.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions?
Just seconded that. That was good.
Well, at least we ought to give Commissioner Ross kudos for getting through that.
Moving groups real quick.
I think we're ready to vote. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion approved, 6-1. Thank you. We're now down to 10B. And we have a motion suggested on our white sheet. Commissioner Russ?
Yeah, okay, I move that the Leelanau County Board of Commissioners approve the agreement between the County of Leelanau and RCI Richter Construction, Inc. for the purpose of constructing the build-out of the lower level environmental health department space in an amount not to exceed $3,560,275, and that the chairman be authorized to sign the agreement. Funds to come from fund number 470, capital improvement funds, with a transfer of $368,745 from fund 516, the delinquent tax revolving fund.
It's 270.
Did I say that wrong? Sorry.
There are two different numbers there, and you want to explain why?
Sure, there's two different numbers because the final number, I believe, incorporates the 12,000 that was of the FAH agreement. So it combines both of those costs into that final component.
So since we already approved the one amount, should it be excluded from this motion? Because I don't want.
I think so.
It would only make sense.
We have Sean here.
Which one's right?
I talked to the clerk before her, what, should we let her answer?
Sean and I had already discussed this earlier today. He's spoken with the treasurer this week. The motion is correct. Instead of muddying the waters in 10A, after you said to the funds to come from 470 and us putting an additional transfer language of the 12 something, it was just automatically included to be added to the 356, 275. That way there will be enough money in the 470 to proceed. We just didn't want to muddy the waters with changing a ton of motions. But I do need to know who seconded it.
Any discussion?
Who seconded it?
I can second, I don't think anyone. Yeah, I will, I'll do it.
Commissioner Ross made the motion, Commissioner Kramer seconded. Any discussion? Any question? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion approved 6-1. Thank you. We are now down to review of financials. Commissioner Lauder?
Anybody else have any questions about claims and accounts or post audit? Thank you to finance for answering some earlier questions. The other one I was curious about was, I think it was KSS. It was 10 gallon of Dawn dish soap. Was that your supply? Is that what? Are we using it for something other than washing dishes?
I'll
if we
take
do?
a stab at this
Cleaning
since they
birds.
have a dishwasher issue over there. Maybe they're hand washing more dishes. I'm guessing. I'm being facetious. I don't know.
Oh, Jerry might know. Jerry's in the back. What are we doing with 10 gallon of Dawn dish soap?
Buy them 4 to a case, they're gallon jugs, and they have pumps on them, and I bought those for reasons of future.
Okay.
Don't buy 2 and then you're out, and you gotta wait another week or drive to Travis to pick up
Yep.
another gallon or whatever it might be.
So just standard,
So,
okay,
standard.
nothing, we're not washing the walls or anything, okay.
Yeah, stocking up.
Being prudent, thank you, Jerry.
Any other questions on financials? And thanks to those commissioners that reached out to Kathy or Sean prior to the meeting. Are there any committee reports, recommendations, or resolutions? Yes.
I'm not sure if this belongs here, but
If we're on the solid waste council, is this a place to?
Sure is.
Report? Okay. I'm a member of the solid waste council and I was able to tour the GFL recycling center today along with others from that commission. And I have got to tell you that as a solid recycler myself, I still learned so much from what they're doing there. And I just encourage everybody to go onto our website or the GFL website to learn about the updates and how they make it really easy. And 99% of the materials that are accepted at that recycling center are reused, recycled, somehow not put into the landfill. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I just wanted to thank Trudy Gallo and her staff for organizing this and really clearing up a ton of information for me personally, and encourage everybody else to go on that same path. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? We are now down to special reports, and I never know which is a committee report and which is a special report, but anybody else got anything to say? Then we are down to our second public comment, and this one is limited to 5 minutes. And we would invite you to raise your hand and we will call on you if you'd like to make public comment. Yes, Mr. Susan.
Bill Wiesner, Elmwood Township. Just like to continue a little bit from what I missed in the first part. To watch the Mind Polluters movie for free, it's a $25 video, but to watch it for free, you go to themindpolluters.com. themindpolluters.com. On October 19th, that's a week from this Thursday through Sunday, October 22nd. And you can watch it for free. Get anyone concerned, we should all be concerned about what's happening in the schools with these sexually explicit books. And they justify them, try to, by saying the kids need them. They don't need that. They need the truth. And that's being censored.
No, you won't, because I won't be here.
That's being censored from the kids, as we saw at Central and TC West High School, 500 and 400 to 0. So that's where your banned books are. Borders Bookstore, by the way, this was 2001. I've been following this since about 2000. They had 500 plus books all on LGBTQ. I counted them. I touched and looked at 3 different sections. I talked to the managers for 45 minutes and they couldn't find 3 different managers. They couldn't find one book showing the other compassionate view of the truth about the promotion of homosexuality. And if you go to tcfamily.org, you should read this: Christian versus LGBTQ religion, God's word versus man's word, the 10 commandments on both sides. You can find near the bottom of the second page a list of 108 titles. And here I printed them off, 16 pages of them. Shows the book. I don't agree with all of them. I mean, I don't know about all of them. I give it the name Banned Truth About Homosexuality Books. That's my title. He gives it this guy's a homosexual. He doesn't like the books. So he gives it another title. If you want to know his derogatory title, go to tcfamily.org, end of the second page. I hope to get you to check that flyer out just to find out the name that he gives it. And also, at the end of the last meeting, Jamie, you said you would want to talk to me about this LGBT. I'd be happy to talk to you. You said your husband's working with doing video or whatever for the Up North Pride stuff. It'd be great if he could come too, but I'd be happy to talk to anybody about this stuff, because we share truth and love. I've been doing this for 20 years, and that's how I always do it. Okay, now the second thing is the election, and That's the 5 pages. That's an AI report. I didn't know I even had it. I was looking over the stuff, trying to figure out what to do. And this document, this transcript's 33 pages long. So I'm thinking, I don't have time for that. But I saw this AI 5-page summary. So that's what it is. I'd like to just look at 2 stories from it because I'm short on time. Right at the very end, it talks about Michigan. The last bold paragraph there, it says Dr. Frank provides an example from Michigan where 256 new voters were added to the rolls after the machine was turned off and back on. And the voter IDs for these new voters were found to be fraudulent. That's the AI script for it. I didn't get, I don't have it right here, but the Secretary of State promised to give those records. The court ordered that they give them to her. She promised to, but then she delayed, and then it was finally dropped. So she didn't have to give the records. But if you could have looked up those records, you'd see the phantom records, just like the ones in Muskegon and 7 other cities in Michigan. So the other is a quick story from Louisiana. I don't think I have much time. So the Secretary of State down there was a big GOP conference. And by the way, this talk, if you Google the title, Dr. Frank presents a math at Gwinnett Republican Assembly. That's in Georgia, 2nd largest county by Atlanta. And he talked to them right after they had the movie, the 2000 Mules had come out. That's it. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Hello, good evening. My name is Renee Weiler and I'm from Lake Leelanau. And they were talking about committees, and first I wanted to mention that we, as the Patriots, would like to be on some of the committees. We feel like they're being filled with certain people with certain ideological issues. And we would like to be included in the Green Futures Task Force. We had Dave Mosier, myself, applied and filled out our forms, and we were told that somebody else was waiting in the wings for that position. And Commissioner Ross said there was someone that they were waiting on, maybe someone younger. And we had that discussion with Melinda Lautner, not trying to be excluded from this committee. So we're really concerned about all these committees that seem to be stacking the deck and not having any conservative, Republican, or independent mindsets. And I would like to know, how are we going to deal with that? Ty, you said that we could expand the Green Futures Committee to include more people, and we would like to do that. Enough said on that. I serve on another committee. It's a National Committee of Whistleblowers, and we will be auditing the Leelanau County Register of Deeds and all Register of Deeds throughout Michigan. We are working with a federal housing finance agency, and they just gave us a notice. And I'm going to give this to you, Michelle Crocker, and one to you, Ty Wessel. We have a criminal by the name of Patrick Joseph Soria, who has created a company called the Bank of New York Mellon Trustee. And he has assigned properties to his company. There's another company that he created. I believe it is the Wilmington Savings Fund Society Trust. We have both of those in the Leelanau County Register of Deeds. So I need someone from law enforcement to take this seriously. This is not a civil matter. This is a criminal matter. You can check with the FA, which is the entity who is in charge of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These are people's homes. They've been stolen. These are people's homes that have clouded titles. And a lot of the companies who are servicers, like Baby Loan Servicing, is a Japanese company. HSBC is Hong Kong Shanghai Banking. They're another one that was one of the Soria companies. So I'm making you aware of that. And I need you to act on this and to investigate this.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, Mr. Peterson. I was hoping you'd come back.
Yes, I gotta find the answer.
I'm still Tom Peterson. I'm going to read my last paragraph. I wrote this because I tend to, as you can tell, I'm a clergyman, and we tend to use a lot of words when it's not written down. But anyway, I've been hearing a lot about this is one nation under God since the beginning in this room. And I have to say that motto, one nation under God, replaced the original one, which was E pluribus unum in 1956, not in 1776. E pluribus unum, by the way, for those who don't know Latin, is out of many one. The under God part was added to our Pledge of Allegiance in 1954, not originally. By the way, the Pledge of Allegiance was written in 1892 by a socialist minister. Yes, his name was Francis Bellamy, and it did not include the words the United States until 1924. So all it takes is a little reading of our founders' writings, the documents that they published, and a little bit of history from a factual viewpoint. And it's amazing the things you learn. So read history. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jim Corberstead, Lake Leelanau. Just to add a note to what was just spoken to, in the 50s, around that same time period, United States may not have been mentioned, but that's also when the United States picked up its last two states, same time frame. So in picking up those states, adding the stars and changing terminology at that point in time also. I have a suggestion that I'd just like to offer. Since the decision has already been made to spend the money to do the remodeling in the downstairs area, and we're committed contractually with whoever's going to be doing it. Because of when you remodel something, it's more of a permanent change. Generally speaking, if you were going to alter it or if you wanted to modify it, it would be hard physical modification to change, say, an office area or a desk area or whatever. Since you've already spent the money and it's coming from whatever 470 is, I would say with this company, if you could, I assume you can, there's alterations you can make to that contract. And if you could, to have them design some nice partitions, something that down the road, with the foresight that we don't have right now, if we wanted to alter the floor space layout, that you'd have the ability to do that. It might even come in a little bit cheaper than what you're already agreed to pay. That doesn't matter. You're already committed to that. So even if it costs the same, in the future, what you might be doing is saving yourself some money if you went more of a partition or modular setup, which a lot of large businesses do, to just set up the cubicles for whatever you want. And if you want to change it, that way you are not sacrificing the use quickly if you wanted to enlarge that and create another open area for whatever the need for the county would be at that time. Just food for thought.
Thank you. Other public comment? Yes, sir.
I'll stand. Keith Badoon, Northport. Last month, there was a lot of thanking people that basically their salary is from taxpayer funding. But I have not heard any thank you to the taxpayers that fund these people that you say, thank you for such hard work. So I think the taxpayers that fund this should be thanked for paying the taxes. And also, if there's another bonus being handed out of $750 or whatever it was, let us all have a $750 bonus. You know, let's be fair to everybody in this county, not just to the government employees. Give us all a $750 bonus.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
Any other public comment? I want to thank you for coming tonight and thanking for your public comment. Commissioner comment? I wanted to just mention the committee membership. We do have Ms. Evans in the administrator's office, and she works pretty hard at getting applications in for committees. And if you would fill out an application, if you don't have access to that, contact Laurel Evans. She'll send you the application. You get to indicate which committees you're interested in, and then this entire board of commissioners makes those appointments. And I think we do it twice a year or once a year?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Unless there's an opening.
Pardon?
Unless there's an opening.
Unless there's an opening.
And it's completely nonpartisan.
Commissioner Ross.
Yeah, I'd like to just reply to Ms. Weiler, please. The green group that you're saying is the Leelanau Energy Futures Task Force. And it was agreed upon by this board that it had 14 members, and we did have those 14 members secured. So at this point, for this year, we're set. So, but we do encourage you to fill out an application, and it will be reviewed when we do that with all of them. And we do have representation. Commissioner Lautner is a member of that, and hopefully she'll be able to make the next meeting.
Thank you. Yes.
The information on the fictitious title and things, I don't know where we're gonna go with that. The county prosecutor is, Joe Hubble is the people's attorney. Okay, you can walk in his office, set an appointment with it, or we can also run it by his office.
I would
Okay?
prefer you run it by his address.
Joe's got an appointment with you, and he is the county's prosecutor attorney, okay?
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Elder.
I guess I would just like to say that, yes, that's a good idea to make the plan downstairs flexible, and that was already done, because it was a good idea. So it's very flexible space already.
Any other commissioner comment? Well, we are now.
I have one. First place, hard walls are not flexible, but obviously with enough money can be changed in the future. I sensed a dig about myself hopefully being able to make the next meeting. I'm happy to announce that I'm expecting a grandchild nearly any day, and had an emergency run to the doctor to make sure everything was okay. So I did not make the first organizational meeting of that energy task force because I was where I needed to be for my daughter and her other two children. So unless our baby does come on the day of the next meeting, I certainly will be there. So I thank you for that. And also, we will do our best to get every representation on our boards. We do try. Obviously, sometimes we're not as successful as we personally hope. And I wanted to thank Tom. I just heard something very interesting about the Pledge of Allegiance and when Under God was added. And I wish I could remember the exact details, but I believe it was a Democrat senator out of like Oklahoma who made that motion, or Arkansas or something. So I thought that was very interesting, and I think you're right with your dates too. So thank you for that. That was very educational.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, we're now down to approval of financials, and I know this is Commissioner Lautner's favorite part of the meeting.
Absolutely. I had no other questions about them. We did have some late claims. Hopefully everybody had an opportunity to, or I should say late claims, that we had an opportunity to go over. So I would move to approve claims and accounts, $223,037.04.
All those in support of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
And I would move to approve post audit, $6,362,112.58.
Support.
All those in support of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0. Looking for one more motion.
I would move to adjourn.
Yeah.